Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it's time to check in on Cricket Albury-Wodonga's Hume branch for the first time in 2024. And our correspondent, Steve Bennett, is on the line with me. Steve, welcome back. Great to be chatting to you again. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's good to be back. Hope everybody's had a good start to the year. But, good to get our cricket back underway last weekend.
Absolutely. I'm glad we've got some country cricket going on this weekend because there's no cricket at Adelaide Oval, all wrapped up a little bit earlier than we would have liked. But that's okay. We move on. And yes, like I said, luckily we've got some country cricket to get to. So let's have a look at the weekend that was. And it wasn't much of a weekend, was it?
No, we had a fair bit of rain around. Games were either got a start and didn't finish, or one of the games in B grade, I think, stopped a couple of times and they finally got a result. Yeah, we only had one finished game in the A grade, unfortunately, but such is the weather at the moment.
Yes, well, let's have a look at that game, and it was another good win for Osborne, which we became accustomed to before we had the Christmas break. They made 202, only lost 4 wickets along the way, and in response bowled out Holbrook for 132. So a good fight from Holbrook, but a comfortable win nevertheless from Osborne.
Yeah. Batting first, Osborne set a pretty good total. 200's not bad off your 40 overs, with the Perryman brothers combining for over 100-run stand. Joe Perryman getting the better of his older brother and captain Ed, 83 to 52. But that's a reasonably imposing score, and they obviously bowled pretty well because there's some good bats in the Holbrook team. But Holbrook fell a little bit short there in the run chase.
Yes, they fell a little bit short indeed, so it was a good win by Osborne. And like you said, Joe Perryman up the top of the order, opening with a nice 83 runs, and Edward Perryman, the captain, making 52 as well. So a couple of good scorers there, and that really was it from the weekend that was. Like you said, we got a couple of starts, but didn't quite get finishes. So let's look ahead to this weekend's action in the first grade, and then we'll get to the seconds in a moment. But hopefully we've got 4 games scheduled. Hopefully we get through all 4 of them, and it's kicking off with Holbrook taking on Colcan.
Yeah, this is going to be a fairly close tussle, I would think. Holbrook obviously went down to Osborne last weekend. Colcan, before the rain came, just managed 100 against Brock Burham. So, they'll both be looking to put on a much better score this week down at the Holbrook ground. So, I think that'll be should be a really good game, and maybe the visitors might get up there.
And we've got Waller taking on the Rock-Yurong Creek. Waller 8-1 for the year. Another team, just like Osborne, that we've become pretty accustomed to seeing them get some good wins. So I don't think there's any signs of them slowing down unless something drastic's happened over the Christmas break. But the Rock-Yurong Creek, any chance of handing them their second loss of the year in this one?
Well, they're always a chance, the Rock-Yurong Creek. They're a very mercurial side. They sort of started to mount their run to the grand final around this time last year. They'll be hoping that Waller, had a very good festive season and maybe overindulged. They might be able to get over the top of them. But, Waller's very hard to beat at home. So Rock-Yurong Creek will certainly have the work ahead of them.
Yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on. We'll see what the pace is like running between the wickets after a few Christmas puddings from some of the players. But hopefully everyone's back in good form by now. It's been a few weeks, of course. And we've also got Rand taking on Osborne. Now, Rand down the bottom of the ladder at 2-7. Osborne up the top, or second, at 7-1. So you would think this would be a good win for Osborne. But as we spoke about a lot last year, the ladder sort of might not be completely honest because there were a lot of players involved in harvest and a lot of fill-in players. So coming into the new year, what are we seeing? Is everyone pretty much back to their best 11 at this point?
Well, it's generally how it plays out. The second half of the season, you see the teams really consolidate and get players back. As you say, harvest is finally done with. So, and Rand is a side that is very affected by harvest. So, they might hopefully get their crew back together and mount some challenges at the end of the season, for the last few rounds of the season. So, yeah, this would be a pretty good game. It's always good at good tussle at Rand. Osborne are on a bit of a streak. They'll be hoping to continue.
All right, interesting stuff. So Rand will certainly be a team to watch from this point on, back at full strength now. And our last match for the weekend in the A grade, we've got Brock Burham taking on Henty, 3rd v 4th. This one should be a cracker.
Yeah, I reckon you've probably got the match of the round there. Dan, Brock Burham, they were certainly mounting a big challenge coming up to Christmas. They were the big movers before Christmas. Henty, they can be a little bit inconsistent at times, but they got off to a reasonable start last week before the rain stopped them against Waller. We hope Henty can put on a good challenge. Brock Burham, they're a heck of a side, so it'll be it should be a good game there at Brocklesby.
All right, let's have a look at the seconds now. And in one of the games that we did get a result in, we had Brock Burham defeating Colcan. Now, Brock Burham, 7 for 110 from 29 overs. Colcan in response making 65 all out from 25 overs. Now, just the 29 overs batted from Brock Burham here. So was this a bit of a rain-affected match, playing less overs with the bat?
I don't think so. It's probably just one of those days. There would have been a fair amount of... I think the ball was doing a lot of talking on the weekend, a lot of prodigious ball movement from the reports I got. So it may have just been one of those days that the bowlers really had a bit of a day out. But certainly you don't often get 110 and think you're going to defend that. But, Brock Burham's had a good win there.
They certainly have a bit of a dirty day for Colcan. 3 ducks on the score sheet and just 2 players making it to double figures. So a good day for the Brock Burham bowlers, but no one standing out. No one taking more than 2 wickets. So shared around very nicely and a good win from Brock Burham. And our other game that was played, it was Osborne getting the win over Holbrook, making 143 with the bat and bowling Holbrook out for 88 in response.
Yeah, that was a really rain-affected game. The Osborne batting innings was stopped by rain, and then Holbrook looked like they might be just going to survive. They were 7 for 32 when the rain came, and I think they were off for a good half an hour, 40 minutes. But anyway, they went back out and finished the innings, and the Osborne team are pretty happy to get the win.
Some very good bowling from a young man named Henry Bennett.
Yeah, I think I know that boy.
Yes, 7 for 12 with 4 maidens from 7 overs. He took out, He took out the top 6 batsmen for Holbrook, and he bowled 4 of them out for ducks. He's got some pretty good genes, I reckon, that boy.
Yeah, I think that might come through his mother's side, Dan. I've never bowled that well, but I did hear that I wasn't actually at the game, but I did hear that he bowled very well. So, he was pretty happy, a bit tired, but pretty happy with his return for the day.
And has he been talking about it ever since?
Oh, he's pretty quiet about it, but if I bring it up, he will go through each dismissal.
As he should. You take 7 for, you've earned every right to do that. So sensational game from him, and I'm sure you're very proud. And Osborne's up to second on the ladder at 7 and 3, just behind Lockhart, who are top at 8 and 1. So that is the action from the weekend in the second grade. What's the weather forecast like for this weekend? Are we looking like getting a full slate of games in?
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, looking high 20s. I'm down in Albury at the moment. It's a beautiful day today. I think it's going to be pretty much the same. So, I don't think we'll be able to blame the weather on anything tomorrow. Hopefully we can get our 8 games across the 2 grades played, and it'll be interesting to see how the ladder sits in both grades after that. Sensational.
And are you putting the whites on and trying to go one better and take 8 for this weekend?
Yep. Yeah, I think you can probably pencil that in. I am definitely playing.
All right, very good. Well, whether you take 8 for or not, that remains to be seen, but I look forward to chatting next week and finding out. Stephen Bennett, thank you very much for that update. Great to have you back on the air for 2024. Looking forward to chatting again next week.
Thanks, Dan. Absolute pleasure.